Liftoff will start in T-minus 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition.
It's time! 17 seconds from Game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan open. Chicago with the lead. Harper got a piece of it. It comes off. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship.
Tying run at second, 2 out. Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
To the far side around the 8-yard line to Hester. Under it and to the middle with the 15 to the 20, breaks free of the 25 to the 30, to the outside, 40, midfield, 40, 30 to the coast, 20, 15, Hester 5. Oh! Touchdown!
Toward Bryant. He will glove it toward Rizzo. It's in time. And the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this Hump Day edition. I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. And if you're not following us on Facebook, what? Listen, go to Facebook, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the like button, and now you're following Sports Zone Chicago. Simple. But wait, there's more. Oh, shoosh, I forgot about that. There's more. Listen, go to the show's page. Go to Shawn and Maya in the morning. Go to that page as well. Click the like button, and now you're following Shawn and Maya in the morning as well as Sports Zone Chicago. All right? Get it? Got it? Good. Now, if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, excellent! And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, for real? All right, listen, go to YouTube, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the subscribe button. Okay, click the subscribe button. Click the little bell right next to it. That is a notification button. That is a button to let you know anytime a show from Sports Zone Chicago is going live. Got it? Yeah. Okay, good. Listen, if you're watching us on our mobile app, and please don't tell me you didn't know. If you don't know, you better ask somebody. We have a mobile app. Come on, man. Listen, go to Sports Zone. Go to wherever you get your apps from. And I don't care whether it's iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Walmart, Kmart, 7-Eleven, Zayre, Zemsky, Macy's, Montgomery Ward, Woolworth, Venture, wherever you get them from. You go there, you type in Sports Zone Chicago, you download it. You take us with you on to go. So not only do you get Shawn and Maya in the morning 3 days a week, not only do you get our other live shows throughout the week, not only are they archived there like they are on Facebook and YouTube, but I'll tell you what, we give you a slew. And I mean a slew of articles, thanks to my man Clarence, Council the Third. Big up to Clarence for keeping you abreast of all articles Chicago sports related. Now, if you're watching this on a Roku channel, I like that kind of party, baby. Yes. Listen, Sports Zone Chicago, we have our own Roku channel. What you doing? Come on, man. Please don't tell me you didn't know this. So here's what you do. If you have a Roku TV in the house, if you have Roku TVs, multiple in the house, here's what you do. All right, you go there. You download the Sports Zone Chicago's tile. All right? You know how to do it. Don't even act crazy like you ain't even know. All right? You've downloaded Hulu. Well, Hulu usually comes on it. But you downloaded Disney Plus. You downloaded Stars. You downloaded Paramount Plus. You downloaded Showtime. All right? Download Sports Zone Chicago's tile, and you can watch us on the big screen. Hell, we're there right Mickey Ficky now. Right now. So don't even trip. Don't even trip. All right? If you have more than one device, download to all of the devices. All right? I know, put in the kids' room. I know you're just watching. I don't know. What do kids watch nowadays? It's not like Barney or Teletubbies or anything. I have no idea what the hell kids watch nowadays. Oh, well. Anyway. Well, listen, if you want to, where'd I go? If you want to follow me, just me personally online, you can also tweet the show. I forgot. You can tweet the show at SportsZone Shy. That's CHI at SportsZone Shy. Now, if you want to follow me, just me personally online. You want to know what I did? Well, let me tell you what I did. You want to know what I did? Well, here's what I did. I mean, nice and easy for you folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, the Snapper, all one handle at the Shawn Sierra. And yes, it is Wednesday, baby. Oh, yeah, honey. There it is. She is back.
Get down, little mama. 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 Get down, little mama.
What up, Maya?
Back from the depths of wherever she has gone. She returns. Yes. Hello.
How you doing?
I am busy as hell, but good. I am well. Well, you know what? I feel like I've watched a whole sports scene in Chicago just kind of go down the drain, and it's been an interesting watch, to say the least.
Sunday night was horrible for Chicago sports. All 4 teams lost. One team was eliminated from the playoffs. One team killed their chances in their playoff hunt. The other team just continued going down the dark path that they did. And the other team, our Bears, well, we'll get to them eventually. But just a bad day on Sunday. And it's a bad time in Chicago sports right about now.
It's not a good look. It's not a good look.
No, it is. It definitely isn't. It's good to see you, Maya.
Yes, I know. It's definitely been a minute this time.
Deal with all them crazy people.
Yeah. Well, see, people don't understand that crazy creates high demand. I don't know if people know that, but it does. So yes. So this is always good to be back to talk about the things that I enjoy. So it's good to be back. It's the middle of the week. So yeah, let's get it going.
Well, listen, we have a phenomenal show, but we need you to get interactive with us today. And you know what? Whatever platform you're on, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or mobile app, you can leave a question or comment on that particular platform. It'll come up. All right, we'll put it on here. We'll incorporate it into the show. We'll incorporate it into the show.
Okay, Terrence, why did you pick Bangladesh? Of all the places you could have put me, I'm trying to figure out. I mean, what do you think I was like doing my woosah? Is that why you picked Bangladesh? I'm just kind of figure like, why did you put me like in, I don't know, the Maldives, Central K? He puts me in Bangladesh. What's up with that?
See, he doesn't know you very well because Maya's you're an island girl or a European, a Mediterranean sea girl. One of the two.
I'm in the Malfi Coast. I mean, he puts me in Bangladesh. I'm like, yeah, okay. I have been gone for too long because apparently people have forgotten. Okay.
Oh man! So let's leave a question or comment on your platform, the platform you're watching us on. I know you can't do it on Roku, but that's okay. You can watch us on Roku, and you can still leave a question on your phone or on your tablet or your laptop, whatever. Not a big deal, and that's what it is. That's what makes this the best Chicago sports talk show is you. Use your questions, comments, smart ass remarks, because you know what? Ain't nobody scared over here. Like The Rock says, don't sing it, baby. Just bring it. Let's see who's in the chat because they're jumping already. Cornelia Squall's in the house early as always. What's up? My girl Patty Lara's in the house. What is up, Mama? Lavette Lee, she's in the Mickey Ficky house. Good morning. My Shawn Walls. Here he is. Happy hump day. And you know what? No damn burpees for you and Vernon. Vernon should be in here somewhere soon. No burpees because I had no workout today. Today's my day off. Good. And there's my man Armando Emeterio. Lara Jr. What up, Junior? What's up, Papa?
Morning.
Lavette Lee. I think I said her. But anyway, she's in the house. She gets 2 intros. And that means if Armando and Patty are around, that means Jeremiah has got to be close. That's what I'm talking about. Jeremiah, how you doing? Good morning, mijo. And I'd say hello to Armando Emeterio, Lara the 4th, but he's in school. So, Dito, your parents can show you this later, or Pop can show you this later. Good morning. Terrence Scott, what's up, Baba? Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. Listen, we have a phenomenal show for you at 9:30. We have our guy Emilio Bucks from the Plunked podcast, talking Sox, talking Cubs. You know what? Unfortunately, due to the hot garbage that is on the South Side, people are overlooking the season that Luis Robert is having. Luis Robert is having a phenomenal season. Just hit his 37th homer yesterday. He's inching closer toward 40. And man, this is literally the only bright spot that we have on the South side. So we're going to talk to him. And then the Cubs, man, the Cubs had a 5-game losing streak at the most inopportune time, and they needed a win yesterday. And man, did they deliver big time. So we're going to talk to Emilio Bucks at 9:30, talk to him about that and those two teams. And then at 10 o'clock, our guy from Yahoo Sports, Frank Schwab, is going to join us. You know what? I love talking to local Bear reporters. Okay, but I also love talking to national reporters because I want to see how they look at us from 20,000 feet above the earth. How are they looking at us? What are the national people saying about our Bears, in particular Justin Fields? So Frank Schwab's going to join us at 10 o'clock. Man, so it's got one hell of a show. But, guys, you know how we do. The first segment of every show is called Top of the Morning.
It won't come just when you want it.
Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you.
The first top of the morning topic is, which way do we go? Which way do we go? Which way do we go? Here we go. We'll start with these guys. These guys over here, forget about it. White Sox. Let's start us off on a nice, rusty note. The White Sox fall to the Washington Nationals yesterday, 4-3. Jose Urena, he was on the bump for the good guys. He went 6 innings. He got a no decision. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 1 earned run. Lou Bob, 3 for 4, hitting his 32nd double of the season, knocking out his 37th home run of the season, driving in his 79th RBI of the season. My man Yo-Yo, I can't play with my Yo-Yo before you homer, driving in his 37th and 38th runs of the season. Yo-Yo, well, nice of you to pick it up now that Kenny and Rick are fired. Was that the whole thing that was holding them back? Was Kenny and Rick? They would have been gone a long time ago. But ever since they've been fired, he's been on a little bit of a tear. I hope he can keep it going through the end of this year and next year. Maya, your thoughts on the good guys being so horrible all season long? I'm sorry. I shouldn't take you into your work again. Now you got to deal with the psyche like this. These crazy people on the White Sox. I do this for a regular living.
No, but see, I actually enjoy this. This is fine.
Okay.
This is like just the year where you feel like when everything was not congruent, it showed up this year. We all knew that LaRussa was a waste of a year and a half of managing. That's not the person who should have got that job. That was a pivotal moment. Okay, so the other issue turns into, so Rick Hahn gets his moment to pick his guy, and he picks the guy from a team that has not been relevant in at least a decade, whenever the last time the World Cup.
Truth be told, they won the World Series in 2017, but after that, I mean, you talk about blipping the radar, that's really what happened.
Okay, but he wasn't a part of that. And all the changes that the Royals have made, they passed him over 3 times to be their manager. So can you explain to me how Rick Hahn thought Grifol was the guy? And I'm not being a homer about this when I say it. When everybody was asking for them to bring Ozzie back, it wasn't just because he won a World Series. The idea was he was a good fit for this club. His mentality, his level of how he would manage, the fact that he would hold people accountable, like, hold up. Don't get ahead of yourself because people are speaking so highly about your skills. I felt like this team started the season a little too full of themselves. They hadn't proven anything, but because they had gotten attention on the national stage, like this team is really going to be something, a lot of talent. I think they put the cart before the horse. Mm-hmm. And they failed epically, and it was an ugly thing to watch. And then you just you got people shooting in the stadium. They just look like idiots across the board. And even that is so ridiculous because the answers you've gotten was so poor. Like it was so we don't want to really tell what happened kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's just an awful season. And I look at this. So then they start dealing pieces, right? I'm like, oh, so what does this mean? What are we doing? Is this just a reboot? Are we back to thinking a rebuild? Let's be honest. Giolito should have been gone a long time ago. Lance Lynn should have never been brought back. You didn't go out and get pitching. I think they put Dylan Cease in a funk. Like, I think he got off track just because if the energy isn't good in the clubhouse, this is all a mental game. If the energy isn't good in the clubhouse, if your manager is not competent enough to do the job that he's been hired for, don't get me wrong, he might be a good first base coach, even a good bench coach. He was not meant to be a manager. Everybody can't be like David Ross, who manages to work magic, coming off a player right into a manager. I respect what David Ross. I have even said David Ross could be managing this team, and I think he would have had a different outcome altogether.
I don't disagree with you at all.
I legitimately believe that you would have gotten something different, because even though everybody downplays the manager role, it is way more important. It goes deeper than just wins. It turns into getting talent, coaching it up, developing it, understanding it. And all those things lead you to being not just winning a World Series, but starting with, you got to scratch the surface and being a playoff contender. The fact that this team didn't even make the playoffs, their record is below 500, all of that's unacceptable. And I can only point primarily to ownership, because he's managed to mess everything up across the board. And I'm going to say, Rick Hahn, I don't know what you were thinking. Maybe he was told he couldn't have Ozzie. Maybe he didn't want Ozzie. I don't know. I just want to know why you thought Grifol was the right fit. I don't understand it.
You know what, Maya? Neither do I. Neither do a lot of other Sox fans. You know, you why would you go get a guy from an organization that, as you mentioned, passed him over 3 times? And then my biggest issue with this is you don't give a rookie manager an underperforming veteran team. That's my issue. Okay, you need somebody with gravitas. You need someone who demands respect as soon as they walk in. Now, mind you, you didn't have to go get Ozzie, but you could have gone and got Bruce Bochy. He was available, and look what he's doing with the Texas Rangers. I know they're a little bit of funk, but he had him in first place most of the year. You didn't interview Joe Girardi. He's up north at the Marquee Network. All right, as one of their analysts. You didn't interview Joe Madden. These are World Series champion, World Series winning managers, guys who hold people accountable, guys who, when they walk in the room, they demand respect. And right now, what this team needs, they needed a manager that they can walk in that they respect, because they don't respect Grifol. And it's just that simple. So, but listen, moving on, speaking of Ozzie Guillen was nominated for an Emmy for his work with the Chicago White Sox pre and post game show. There's Ozzie as a manager. Remember, he'll be beloved in this town forever, as winning the World Series in 2005 with the White Sox. And then at the pre and post game show, here's the thing that I love about him: he doesn't care. He tells you the truth. Like, Ozzie's one of those guys that I think it'd be a very difficult thing for him to lie, because that's who he is. He's so genuine. He doesn't care. And I don't think he doesn't, not that he doesn't care. He just feels that you need to know the truth. And that's the bottom line. Whatever the situation is, whether it hurts your feelings or not, you may not like Ozzie Guillen, and that's fine. But you do respect him, because you know damn well he's not going to pull punches. He's not going to sugarcoat things. He's going to tell you the blunt, honest truth. And as a man, as a human being, as an adult, you can only respect that.
And that's what it comes. Like I said, everything you just said is spot on. You didn't. Okay. If you didn't, I mean, it's funny that you can give everybody else a chance to be in the organization, except for the person who actually yielded you dividends, a World Series. So you can keep Kenny in the fold, do all this stuff with people who literally didn't get you to where you needed to be. But the person who got you there don't want to deal with him, because Ozzie wasn't going to allow them to tell him what to do. He's like, if you bring me in, you let me do my job. There is there's going to be no micromanaging here. But the thing is, that's what you want, a manager who can go do their job. But this is exactly why I think about the people you talked about. You're not going to look at Bochy and tell him what he's about to do with his team.
No, I want him to bat third. Like, no, you sit in your little box up there.
You're not about to look at Girardi, who is truly Southside Italian, whatever. And you're not going to tell him what to do. So think about all the people they passed by because of the fact that Reinsdorf is still a control freak. And he will drive. Well, he's already driven this team. This was the opportunity. There was talent on this team. There was talent. There was no doubt about it. They mismanaged it. I think all of them are disenchanted now, if you want to know the truth. I think their level of commitment is just gone. And here we are. And I stopped watching a long time ago. I checked out. Totally checked out.
Yeah, I did as well. I would just check the scores. I've gone to 2 games this year, maybe 3. And that is far below my 8 to 10 game, maybe more per year. I usually try to hit double digits games a year. And you know what? I honestly, Maya, I'd love to start a Sports Zone Chicago boycott. Just boycott the whole home opening series next year and have like 1,000 people in the stadium.
But see, this is why people see when people make fun of like why Sox fans they have no fans in the stands, because Sox fans are not going to take their hard-earned money and just give it away. If it doesn't feel like you're committed to doing something or winning, like remember when the buzz was like this is good, remember the stadium was full. Yeah. When like 2 years ago, the buzz was there, people were showing up, they were excited, everybody was present. Notice everything has fallen off because you realize here we go again. Here we go with the mismanagement. So, I mean, literally, I've only been to 2 games and I was upset because I showed up to see Vanilla Ice. How dare you?
Oh, you were there too? So I was there that night too.
I was there. I was mad. I was hot. I was ready to get, it takes 2 to make a thing go. I was ready. And it didn't go. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And I was like, and actually I showed up late. That's just how much I didn't really want to
shut the front door, Maya. I got there in the 8th inning.
At the 7th inning. Had tickets, had good tickets too, like good seats. Bought the good seats because I wanted to be right there where I knew the stage would be. Had good seats. Walked in like roughly the end of the 7th. Like we sat across the street. Think about this. At the bar. Had dinner. Talked. I was like, okay, I guess we should go in now. That's just how much I'm disenchanted. And when I saw on the screen, I finally got in there and stuff because we were taking our sweet time. It might have been late in the 7th. When it says the concert has been canceled due to technical difficulties.
Yes.
I was like, well, let me get this right. The lights are on. The speaker's working.
Someone just got shot. They finished the game, but now you're canceling the concert?
Right. Yeah. When I tell you I was hot, and that was the last game. I went 4th of July, and that was it. Those are only 2 games. That's just how much I've been like not invested in what they're doing. And I honestly don't even plan to be there next year. You're going to have to do something magical for me to decide I even want to show up next year for anything. That's just how I feel at this point.
You know what I wanted? That's so funny, Maya, because that's the same MO that I had. I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going to pay for parking. It's $30. So I drove to the parking to Mariano's on Archer and Ashland, parked my car in the parking lot, walked to 35th, which is 2 blocks, hopped the bus, to the stadium. And the only reason I went was for the concert. That was and I didn't pay. I went on a second party or third party app, got the ticket for $16. Mm-hmm. All right. And I was excited. I'm like, I'm not going to sit and watch this game because first of all, they got blown out. But secondly, I met up with some people there and I met up there in the 7th. I got there in the 8th inning. In the 8th inning, I'm like, okay, perfect. Now Vanilla Ice. It was Tone Loc, Rob Bass, and Vanilla Ice. I'm like, each guy has like 2 songs. So right. 6 songs, but another 30-minute.
Perfect. That you like. It's songs that they define the 90. You know what I'm saying? So you're good with it. I'm like, this is fun. And I was just like, how did they ruin this? I'm done. I'm just over it. And I'm tired of the yo-yo with this team. The issue, honestly, when it's all said and done, it's really about ownership. And Cub fans can attest to this. You saw a shift in the investment and change in the team and the culture when the Tribune company sold to the Ricketts. You saw that personal interest on taking that team to the next level, and it happened. And they've been invested ever since. They make the moves. I get it. But the sad part is we have a private owner who has managed to ruin 2 teams, the Bulls and the White Sox.
Yep.
And it's like, it's ridiculous at this point. I'm like, it's not about the team itself. It's just about the ownership. And that's the one thing you can't change is the ownership. So I just refuse to keep giving you my money. So everyone knows I'm a moonlighter. I also like the Dodgers. I'm happy. I'm good. Everything's fine.
Man, I'm telling you, I hear you. And that's the same thing why I'm not going. Next year for opening day, I'm telling you, I will do the same thing. I will park my car in the Mariano's parking lot, catch the bus, tailgate like a son of a gun out there. And then game time, all right, guys, I'm out. Not even going to go in. The hell with them. I couldn't care less because what they've done to us, it shows that they don't give a damn about us. Let's keep it going. We got a few minutes before our first guest at the bottom of the hour. Next top of the morning topic, the Cubs. Man, after that 5-game losing streak, the Cubs needed a win. Cubs with a big win over the Pittsburgh Pirates. They need to beat these teams, all right? They need to beat these teams. They got 12 games left, or 11 now, and they need to win 8-9 of these games to have a legit shot. They blew out the Pirates 14-1. Assad yesterday was on a bump. He got the win. He's 4-3, went 5 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 8 punch outs. Mr. Outcast himself, Heiya Suzuki. He was 3 for 4 with his 29th double, his 19th homer, and his 66 RBI. Dansby Swanson, the high-priced shortstop, he was 2 for 5 with his 21st homer, driving in his 75th and 6th runs of the season. And a man who's seeing it all the way to the bank this offseason, Cody Bellinger, 1 for 4, came up big with with 3 RBIs yesterday. He hit a home run as well. Just telling you, Cody Bellinger is writing. Whoever is signing him is just going to give him a blank check. And then Canadio, rookie, his second game, I believe, 2 for 4 with a double, his first of the year, and hits his first home run is a grand slam. He brings in 5 RBIs, his first 5 RBIs of the season yesterday. The Cubs knew they had to take care of business, and they did.
And they did. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. You look at a team and you look at the roster, and let's be honest, it doesn't wow you. It doesn't overwhelm you. You know what I mean? You knew there's some good things. I told everybody that Cody Bellinger would be exactly what I knew he was going to be. This was his bounce back year. So when they picked him up, I said, you're going to be very happy with Bellinger. He's lived up to expectation,
and then some.
But yes, when the Dodgers let him go, I get it. But I was like, okay, but they have insight that's different. So I felt like he was a good acquisition and would be a good fit with that team culture. When I look at this roster, that's a mix of experience, non-experience, and look how well it all comes together. Even after having this losing streak, look, we got to refocus, reboot. We're doing this. This is the thing you get when you have a quality manager. He's getting everybody to play at this high level, and guess who's looking at playoffs?
Yep, the Cubs are tied for the last playoff spot with the Arizona Diamondbacks, a team they should have, had they not gotten swept by them. They would have a game lead, but right now they're tied for the second and last wild card spot. You got 11 games left. All right, you got to win. I say 8 of these 11 games. If you can do 9-2, that'd be even better. But we'll see. We'll see if they can get it done. But the fact of the matter is, you're going to the ballpark every day knowing that you're playing meaningful baseball. How fun would that? If you're a pro, if you're a player, like how excited are you? Like, you know what? I got to go to today because we got to win. I got to play my best. As a competitor, you want this. And you know what? If you're a Cub fan, which I'm not, but if you're a Cub fan, you got to be pretty darn happy that your boys are playing meaningful baseball for the last 11 games of the season.
Absolutely. I mean, you can't ask for anything more than that. It's just good stuff,
Oh.
And I'm not, and the thing is, I'm not a Cub fan, but I have no gripes about when you do things right, this is what you get. When you half-ass it, this is what you get. So I have no gripes about it. Like, I don't look at it. I'm not gonna be an angry person like they. It's like, no, I'm not gonna say that. Now, am I rooting for you? No, I'm not. I wish you well, but I'm not that person who's gonna switch sides. Like, no, I'm at where I am and it's miserable, but I'm not gonna switch sides to root. I don't do that. It's a Chicago team thing. No. I am where I am. I wish you well, and I respect everything they've done as an organization, and that's where it sits for me.
I don't wish them well. You know what I wish. I wish the team can do well and the fans not do well. It's more the fans that I can't stand than actually the Cub team.
I actually will concur with you 100%. The minute, I swear to God, and it's like the minute, oh, are you from Chicago? Are you a Cub or Sox fan? I'm a Sox fan. Okay. Cub fan to meet you. Oh, what do you? I'm gonna stop asking people this. So you love baseball. Are you a Cub fan? Like, oh, what do you think? And they look at me like, yeah, you're a Cub fan. I'm like, I don't know why you think that. I was like, no, I'm a Sox fan. And they instantly go in. And I said, now see, I didn't say anything negative, and you should probably stop before I hurt your feelings. I said, I will.
They don't know about Little Feisty. They don't know about they don't.
About Little Savage.
Little Savage, they're not ready for her.
I'm already short, so I hit below the belt to begin with. I mean, that's just the way that it works. I'm barely scraping over 5 foot, So I'm like, but I agree. It's like if the fans would just shut up and not have something smart to say, I would probably be okay. But they can't help themselves. It's just like this strong sense of entitlement of nobody who's really won no more than we have, which that makes me laugh. You talk like about this air, like you're amazing and great, but the funny thing is, you really have not won more.
Yep. No, and you're the last sports team that we saw win a world championship. We saw the Bears in '85. We saw the Bulls, obviously. We saw the Sky. We saw the Blackhawks. We saw everybody. And you're the last. I always tell them, like, you guys are like the last. You always got that one friend whose birthday is in like November or December, and they finally get their when they turn 21 and they go to their first club. Like, oh my God, this club is the best. Like, dude, we've been to this club for like the last 8-10 months, bro. Where have you been? We know. It's about time you're in the club. Thank God.
I was like, my thing is like, do you feel the need to try to mentally subjugate somebody else because you feel insufficient compared to people who really have franchises that are like dominant, like the Yankees and the Red Sox? I mean, and your feelings. So you keep trying to come for us, and I'm like, if it's really about a fight, I don't think you guys want to do that because we'll take you back in the alley and work you out. So I think you should probably stop where you at. I don't think you want none of this, but that's what it is. It's just the fans; they get so obnoxious, and I'm like, it's like Cowboy fans. They act the same way, and you're just
and they're on another level. I say the Cowboy fans are much worse, but they're of the same family, same tree.
You know what? They kissing cousins. Literally same mentality. And it's like, you need to stop. Even though Dallas, give it to them, they definitely have a different storied history. So if they want to be a little special about dynasty stuff, okay. But right now you're not doing anything. So be quiet.
It's been 30 years since you last won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Since you last appeared in a Super Bowl. At least the Bears have appeared in a Super Bowl.
I can't. That's a whole
Hey, well, listen, we got to take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, we're going to welcome our guy, Emilio Bucks, talk a little more baseball. There's a lot of baseball, some meaningful, some really not meaningful at all in the city. So don't go anywhere, folks. Emilio Bucks coming up next right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Time out. How are you feeling right now? Happy? Excited? Angry? Overwhelmed? One of the best things you can do for your mind health is to name what you're feeling. It can sharpen your awareness and help you talk about your feelings with someone you trust. Here are 3 questions to ask yourself. Where are your thoughts right now? In the past, the present, the future? Do you notice any sensations in your body? Is your heart beating fast? Is there a flutter in your stomach? Or are you fully relaxed? What do you need right now? Time with others? Time to yourself? Remember, there's power in this awareness. So find ways to identify what you're feeling today.
Hi, guys. Hey. Hi, Megan. Hey, Jessica. Megan, you're a tramp. Ryan Fitch told me you guys made out. Everybody knows. He said your breath smells like garbage. And he almost puked. He says you're the most desperate girl he knows, besides your mom. How many boyfriends does she have anyway? Lots? Your makeup makes you look like a clown. That zit is huge, zit face. Ugly.
Hey, bud, what you doing?
I'm playing with cars.
Cars? Can you show me what a car does? Whoa. Hold on a second. First of all, this is a school zone. So you need to put down your cell phone, stop texting, and let's get to driving. Now you're coming up to a stop sign, right? You need to slow down and stop before you hit that Y line. I want you to look left, right, left. You don't want to get hit by a car going on your left, and to your right to make sure you don't get sideswiped by a guy coming from your right. You're coming, and you see a crosswalk. You better slow your horses down, because the #1 rule of driving is always yield to pedestrians. Now stop, pull over, and you are done driving. Gosh, what do they teach you kids in school nowadays?
On the year, hitting at 249.
Swanson drives that one in the air out towards left center field. Sawinski back at the track near the wall. Gone! Into the basket.
Suzuki at the plate.
That one drilled in the air towards left center field. On its way out of here. Seiya Suzuki.
at second. Crow Armstrong at first. One away. Cubs up 6-1 in the 8th.
High fly ball out towards left center field. And that one is gone. It's a grand slam. How about it? Alexander Canario will touch them all.
Back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. You saw those clips courtesy of the Marquee Network. The Cubs with a big beatdown. 2 touchdowns. 2 touchdowns yesterday, 14-1 over a team that they should beat 14-1. And you know what? You can't fault them. You can't complain. You can't say, well, the Pirates, they could only play the Pirates yesterday, and they did what they were supposed to do. Mm-hmm. Our next guest, excited to have him on. We'll talk a little north side, talk a little south side. He's a good friend of the program. He's from the Plunked podcast. You can find him on Twitter at ebucks76. Guys, let's welcome back to Shawn and Maya, our guy, Emilio Bucks. Emilio, what's up, Papa? How are you?
Good morning. Good morning, folks. How y'all doing today?
Well, how are you?
Wonderful.
Maya. I get to meet Maya.
Emilio, Maya, Emilio.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Nice to meet you.
It's all my pleasure.
So, you know what? It's so funny is real quick before we get into this fun Southside talk, I didn't realize, and I saw this all the time. I didn't realize that at the end of your mic is your logo.
Yes.
I saw it, and I thought it was just headphones, but it's the E and then the B. I'm like, aha! I was like, oh, that's right. I see you. All right.
It's all about that branding, baby. You know what I'm saying? Get that marketing going.
Dude, whoever came up with that logo, badass, dude. Yeah. Is that you?
It was a collaborative effort with me, and shout out to my guy, Tom Glass. He does my graphics for me. He's amazing. Yeah, if you ever need anything done, I can put you in with him. He's awesome.
Oh, you passing the plug. I see. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Always.
Gotta support.
That's the support.
Coming out of break, we saw that the Cubs with a big win yesterday. They had lost 5 in a row. Man, at the most inopportune time and to the most inopportune team, the team that was literally trailing them. They leapfrogged them for a half game. Talk to me about that Northside team. What are they going to do now? How big was that win yesterday as far as giving them momentum for the last 11 games of the season?
It was huge. They needed a win. They need to clean up these wins. That losing that 5 straight really set them back. They're now 6 behind Milwaukee. So I think their chances of taking the division are slim to none, but they still got that wild card spot. So they just got to fight this last, 11 games left or something like that?
11. Yes.
Yeah, they got to take, and I think I heard you say this earlier, they got to take 8 or 9 of these 11 to secure this playoff spot and get some momentum going into the offseason. And another thing they need to do is get healthy, because they got some key players that are out on the IL right now, including Jamer Candelario, even Nick Magical's on his way to the IL. Alzolay is on the IL, so they need to get healthy. And it's not always the best team that wins; it's the healthy team that wins.
Right.
Everybody goes through injuries, and hopefully, the timing with these Cubs injuries means that they'll be healthy just in time. But we'll see.
David Ross, go ahead, Maya.
What's your kind of thoughts about them, just expectation-wise? We can all come into the season and say, oh, you know what, decent team. They're young, good mix of veterans. But did you see them making the playoffs?
Starting out in the, coming into this year, I can't say I saw them making the playoffs. I mean, anybody in this division, whether it's the NL Central or the AL Central, anybody has a shot if you're in one of these two divisions. So we knew coming in, like, well, sure, they got a shot, because we knew St. Louis was going to have a down year. And we know Milwaukee is just Milwaukee and may or may not be there. The candle burned really high for Cincinnati for a while. It kind of faded. Yeah. So I didn't see, they definitely have overachieved this year. And I think the big key to that has been the play of Cody Bellinger. I mean, like that nobody saw that. I heard you mentioning that, Maya. You called it. Hey, good call.
He was, when they picked him up, I said, granted, he once released from the Dodgers, he was definitely having some off seasons in there, some injuries, was not playing at the level.
Shoulder, shoulder was a big issue.
But I was like, if this is his bounce back year, I'm like, he is going to be such a good fit. And to me, he comes from an organization where he's also being, obviously a product of the Dodgers, such a good fit for the Cubs, not just based on talent, but his idea about winning and culture and being managed.
Yeah.
Perfect fit for them.
Playing on a big stage in Chicago and Wrigley. Yeah. Perfect fit. So, hey, I'm not a Cub fan, but I'm happy for them. They have exceeded, I think, the most diehard Cubs fans' expectations.
Real quick, before your thoughts on them? They got two big free agents that they're going to go after. One's Cody, or to resign, and one's Cody Bellinger, and one is bring back Marcus Stroman. Your thoughts on do they sign both of them? And if they do not go after both of them, who's more important that they go after and make sure that they sign?
I think going into next season, they will be in win now mode. And so I do think it's important to shore both of them up, honestly. Marcus Stroman, he isn't a young player anymore. And so we just hope after this injury he can return to form. I think it's important to go after him because they're going to need that early season Marcus Stroman for next year. Cody Bellinger, if they don't sign him, they still are without a first baseman. We're assuming Pete Crow Armstrong is going to be there in center field going into next year. And so that leaves them without a first baseman. And who better to do that than the guy who's got an OPS of over 800 and, he's knocking the crap out of the ball. He's hitting over 300. He can play the first base position very well. He can play center very well. They need to go after and shore both of those guys up. Who's more important? I'm always gonna say pitching, but if they only get Stroman, they got some work to do to tie up the first base. And they still don't have any power coming from their corners, from their outfield. Seiya is picking it up, which is good. Not getting a lot of power out of Ian Happ this year. So, you're going to need a guy like a Cody Bellinger to bring that power from first base.
Okay. All right. I personally, I'd love to see Cody Bellinger. I like this kid. Oh, this guy. He's not even a kid anymore. I like this guy. He is he's a stud, man. And I hope that his cup of coffee here in Chicago this year, I hope he liked it. I think he liked it. And I hope that allows him, and it's going to be we know his agent, Scott Boras. So we know it's, high is bidder.
Right.
High is bidder.
Absolutely.
But I hope he says, hey, listen, even if the Cubs don't give us the most, I feel like the second or third most, but I like the culture here. If they sign him, I mean, I think that would be a phenomenal signing. Keeping him and Dansby Swanson. That's a nice 1-2 punch that you have there. 2 veterans, 2 Gold Glovers, 2 World Series winners. Those are the veterans you need in that locker room. And he's not even that old. He's like, what, 28?
He's not that old, so he's still got plenty of miles left. Plenty of
6 to 8 good tires. Seasons. Yeah, 6 to 8
and he's already won, and he's a winner, so he knows how to bring that winning attitude to this still very young Chicago Cubs team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. So moving over to the South Side. Sorry, we have to do this.
Do we have
ourselves,
to?
But
everyone's like, why? Yes.
Okay. Yes. Of course.
So Maya, I was telling Maya that the only reason that people I even give a damn about the White Sox is Luis Robert. Just cracked his 37th homer of the season last year. This guy is truly unbelievable. And I think that it's double-edged sword for me though, Emilio, because I see what Luis Robert's doing. And as much as I love it, I hate it because that gets me more infuriated with Yo-Yo because you have that same talent. Eloy, you have that same talent, not out defensively, no, but at the plate, you have that ability. and they're not living up to it, and that's frustrating. Talk to me about Lewis Roberts' season in your eyes, and how soon before he becomes a national, a household name, I should say.
Well, I definitely feel like this was Luis's his breakout year, and it's no coincidence that this has been his most healthy year.
Bingo.
Missed a couple games here and there with some bumps and bruises, but no major injuries this year, which is huge, and that allows him to get into a groove and stay in that groove, and not having to keep constantly fighting his way back from major injuries. I think that made all of the difference. I think he took that first step towards national exposure by taking part in the home run derby. Made it to the second round. Unfortunately, was not able to play in the game. But I expect better things from him going into next year, and I think he'll be ready to take the next step and on that national stage. Now, unfortunately, the Sox probably aren't going to get a lot of national coverage next year.
Nor do they deserve any.
Yeah, not that they deserve any, but but a player of his caliber will find a way to shine, and people will take notice. So I expect even more from him next year.
When you think about, Shawn, you will hold out for Yo-Yo forever.
Yeah, forever.
And I'm just going to say, at some point, you have to accept that this just might be who he is. And this is what I say with a lot of people on this team. There was a lot of talk 1 or 2 seasons ago about the potential that's here, the talent that's here. And I think they all got into it a little too much, so to speak, ahead of themselves because of all the national attention they did get. And I understand that Yo-Yo has had his bouts of injury here and there, but he also, just like with me, with like Giolito, I give you a window of time before I need you to step up. You're playing at the pro level. You're not in the minors. So when you get to this level, it can't be. So when is it going to happen? I think we've done that long enough with him to say, maybe this is just what you get from him. And if this is what you get, the question becomes, is this enough? Are you okay with it?
Well, I think one thing with Yo-Yo has been health. Like a bad back is a bad back is a bad back. Those things take a long time to heal, oftentimes never completely heal. And he's also had some oblique problems. Now, I don't know if that has to do with his training regimen or what it is, but when you look at him right now, I mean, I know they're playing this garbage time right now, but he is playing at a higher level than we've seen him play at over the last 2 years. Too
I just tell Maya, I'm like, did they have to? All they had to do was get Kenny and Rick. They should have done that 2 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but again, I think Shawn, it goes back to he's feeling good right now. He's feeling healthy right now. I would like to see a little bit more urgency out of him when I see him at the plate, when I see him swing at a bad pitch. I would like to see a little bit more urgency. I'm not saying the guy's got to break his bat over his knee just because he struck out or something like that, but your attitude is infectious among the rest of the team. And as now as young as he is, he's one of the kind of the veterans of this group right now. He needs to show a little bit more. He needs to show a little bit more like he gives a damn. And I think if he gave more of that, we wouldn't have as many problems. We would kind of be a little bit more understanding of the injuries that he's had and things like that. But sometimes it just doesn't seem like he cares. And I think we all have a problem with that. This is Chicago. You got to put forth that effort. Win, lose, or draw. If you're not putting together the effort, this isn't the place for you. And so, Yo-Yo's got to really step it up, trying to change his attitude. I don't know if it's going to take better coaching on him or what it is, but I hope for the best because I want to see him do well, obviously.
And when we get to the point, and I understand this is a mere mortal evaluation of this. Whenever I hear people say, and I get it, and I know it's true, that maybe you just need someone to do this for you. I was like, I think you get paid a little too much money for me to have to chase after you to do your job. Now, if you go to your job and act like that, what's going to happen?
True. I don't have a job.
Oh, bingo. So my thing is just like this mentality, like we have to keep coddling and this sense of entitlement in sports right now. It's really a turnoff for me because you haven't done enough or proven enough to even have that kind of attitude. Like, how can you walk around with a chip on your shoulder when you play for a team that sucks? Like, you suck. I'm saying it. I'm a fan saying it. You suck. So you should be out there trying harder, doing more. And yes, the injury piece, I understand, is a big part of his narrative. But then I also feel like you would then have to ask yourself, but if we can't keep him healthy, is he still part of the equation? Not even the equation. Is he actually part of solving the equation?
Mm-hmm.
No, that becomes a thing for me. It's like if it's constant injury, season after season after season, when do you cut your loss? And I know teams struggle with this. Like, when do you cut your loss? I mean, people cut the loss with Bellinger. Look what happened. It took a while, though, for him to come back around and to get to this level. But the Dodgers took the chance and said, okay, this is going on. We're going to let it go. I don't know.
But that also comes from an organization that knows that they know how to develop players. That you could let a Cody Bellinger go, you can let a Corey Seager go, they let like 3 or 4 of those guys from that World Series team go.
Mm-hmm.
Because we draft and develop. They ain't worried about it. We'll find another Cody Bellinger. We'll find another Corey Seager. They'll do that. The White Sox, that's indicative. That's an indictment saying they realize they don't know if they can find, and if they do find one, can they develop him? Because who have we brought up in the last 10, 15 years that has been Tim is like the only one we've drafted, developed, and become an all-star in the last 15, 20 years. It's the only one. And it would have been Berger if we didn't trade him, and he probably would have been an all-star next year. But that's another story.
Well, when you develop the John Morant syndrome, what do you do with that? So, I mean, problems. When they say 99 problems, we got all 99. All 99. And the fans ain't one. Okay.
We do.
What about the starting rotation next year, the finishing of the year, but also next year, Emilio? What are they going to do if they even want to make some noise and be competitive in a very weak AL Central? What are they going to do? They got rid of Giolito. They got rid of Lance Lynn. They got rid of Ray Lopez. So where are these other pitchers coming from? I know they got one back in the trade for Eater for Jake Berger. Eater, a left-handed pitcher for Berger. I mean, is he ready? I mean, is Garrett Crochet back in the mix? What's the deal? I mean, what are we looking at as far as rotation pieces next year?
Well, I think if they plan to actually compete, they're going to have to open up the wallet and go after some starting pitching because there's nothing in the pipeline. Eden, I mean, you got to remember this guy's just coming back from Tommy John surgery, so he's still really working his way back up, and we don't know how close he's going to be by next season. Right now, I feel like they definitely need to bring Mike Clevenger back because he has been solid. I know, there's some character issues in question there with him, some things that came up at the beginning of the season, but he has been solid for the team. And I think they don't have a lot of options right now. So I think that they need to bring him back for one.
Touki Toussaint.
Yeah, Touki, he's been up and down, but I think they bring Touki back. That they don't have much to work with, man, and I don't see them opening up their wallet for a bunch of top tier pitchers. I don't even know who's available right now. It slips my mind, but they're not going to be ready to compete where they need to open up the wallets too wide anyways. And so I think they need to hold on to Touki, hold on to Clevenger, and hope that some of these guys that they've been trying out are, can eat up some innings going into next year. I mean, it's looking dismal. You know what I mean? To say the least.
We know how this goes because if you think about it from an offensive side of the ball, if people show up the way we expect, let's just say they find the right. Well, I'm assuming Grifol is still here, so whatever. That within itself, if he's still here, the problem continues.
And he already got the vote of confidence from what's his face, the guy who couldn't develop our minor league system. So now let's run the big team.
So now the problem is if you're still stuck with that, then it's going to continue to be a spiral. Otherwise, if you were willing to make big moves and act like a big team, then you would go out and get pitching, because all your pitching can't be youth. You've got to have those veteran. That mix has to be there.
Yeah.
If you went and got some pitching, it's not to say they couldn't be competitive, but I already knew that Lance Lynn wasn't supposed to be there and Giolito should have been gone. And Ray was just on borrowed time anyways. I mean, so those three pieces were already a deficit coming into this year, as far as I was concerned. So they need to go out and remotely get some pitching to be competitive with this. My gripe is always going to be my guy in Texas is lighting it up. 10-6, Dane Dunning.
Dane Dunning?
Dane Dunning fan. Huge Dane Dunning fan.
Yeah,
Lighting
you
it
are.
up. 10-6. Patience. See, with some pitchers, you have to be patient. He was coming off of Tommy John. And remember when the Sox made the playoffs and they were playing the Athletics, he was their best pitcher coming off Tommy John, which was ridiculous. And they wrote him out too far, and he couldn't go the distance. And yet they traded him. I was like, what are we doing here? So I think it's pitching has to be the investment. And if you're going to go youth movement, then what you have ready on tap offensively, you are wasting. You're wasting that window.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about Dylan Cease and the kind of tough year he's had.
They've traumatized him. That's why.
Yeah.
He's traumatized. He's had that dugout. He's traumatized. He's got PTSD. He's sitting there like, what is this shit show?
I think he expected to be gone at the trade deadline, and I think he's a little disappointed that he's still here right now.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him. I want to be gone too. I'd want to be gone too. I would.
You can't blame him.
And what about the Kopech situation? What do you do with him? I mean, he's already shown he's a head case. When he's on, but how the times he's been on are few and far between. So what do? You cut your losses with him, because he's like Yo-Yo. No one's going to trade for that contract. Nobody wants that. Yo-Yo got a $25 million contract, so nobody's trading for him. What are you going to do with Kopech?
He's in the bullpen now, so let's see if that
actually starting today. Actually, he's starting.
Believe it or not,
yeah,
he's a head case. If you send him to me for the summer, I might be able to get him right together. He's a head case.
We had a chance to talk with Ron Kittle a couple of years ago, and he said that about Kopech, and I didn't quite trust him. I thought he was just being a little cheeky or brash about Kopech. But he said he was a head case, and
he's
sure enough,
he's a head case. That's the
sure
problem.
enough.
Between here, believe it or not, Giolito had the same problem.
Yeah.
Between the ears was the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And it got sticky at one point. But I don't care what nobody say. I'm gonna stick with that one.
He got sticky.
I'm gonna swear. I'm gonna take that one right down there with me. Seriously. But,
the proof is in the pudding when no more sticky stuff.
I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
So
Donaldson called him out on it.
yeah, and the people got mad. I'm like, it's kind of, let's see what happens. So Kopech's a head case. He needs to focus on baseball. His personal life, and he's got too much going on. He needs to dial it down. I'll be honest. I don't feel like Katz is a fit for him. He's not the right. Actually, he wasn't a right fit maybe for anybody except for Giolito. To be honest. So that has to now, besides the fact that you have an inadequate manager, now you have to go find a pitching coach. But then again, who are they coaching? Because there's no real pitchers. It's just an absolute cluster. And for the city of Chicago, it's embarrassing. This is embarrassing altogether.
I think the hope was when we got a new GM that it would be somebody new that would tear everything down, because from the minor leagues to the majors, because everything needs to be revamped. And unfortunately, with one of the guys that's been in the organization now for years, who has failed in the organization for years, you gave him the keys now. And so I'm not really expecting much. I mean, if you ask Chris Getz, he probably thinks he did a good job developing.
Hey, meet the new GM, same as the old.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, it is really sad to watch this happen. It's like Obi-Wan Kenobi. Please, somebody show up. You're our last hope. Somebody show up and do something.
I never thought we would have fallen this far so fast
with a roster that was a good roster.
Yeah,
that's the problem with it. It was squandered.
A good young roster, and
it was squandered. And if there's any telltale sign, this is a great segue for the greatness coming up next, is that when you go get a manager and you give him autonomy, and he tears it down, you have to brace for what might not be good. And right now, every Bears fan is cringing. because you give autonomy, as you should, and you let people tear things down. And then you start seeing what's happening, and it's not a good look. So, but the Sox are already in not a good look mode. So since you're already there, go ahead and pull apart what you don't need and go get what you do need.
Right.
Emilio, great stuff, Papa. I appreciate it. Do us a favor before you go. Let everyone know where they can find you and your work online.
Always a pleasure. You can catch me Sunday nights, 8:05 Central, with my co-host Christopher T on Plunked. Plunked is part of the Chicago Clubhouse Network, so you can catch us on there. You can catch us on Plunked on Facebook. You can catch me eBucks76 on Twitter, or you can catch me on Plunked Chicago on Twitter as well.
Great stuff, Papa. We'll talk to you soon.
Man. All right, folks. Great talking to you.
All right,
nice meeting you. Good stuff.
All right, guys, we got to take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, our guy, Frank Schwab. Man, I haven't talked to him in a minute, and I'm scared to hear what he's got to say. What is the NFL landscape saying about our Bears? It can't be any worse than what some of the local diehard or blowhards are saying here. So we're going to find out on the other side. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
To run for 17, back he goes, here comes Chubb, there goes the ball, touchdown! Jones will walk at the left tackle, time for Fields, now he'll accelerate to get the first down, great tackles, and he's off to the races, oh, he got a terrific block.
For every generation, it has started with the call to serve. Discovering the purpose and the belonging earned with the title. Learning to dig deep and push through adversity together. Defending our nation and its people. It is a life of great worth and reward. But Marines are never really finished serving. Their commitment comes full circle, visible in communities across our country. This is Semper Fidelis, always faithful, always Marine, marking a path for the next generation.
So I've come up with a family emergency plan.
Great. What is it?
It's difficult to talk about, so I'm not telling you.
How will we know what to do?
You won't.
I'm so glad I won't have to remember anything.
And me too. Thanks for this, sweetie.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Search Ready Kids at nyc.gov or call 311.
This year, my mom got me the perfect bag for back to school.
These colorful binders help me stay organized.
These headphones are just what I need for studying.
These new sneakers are just what I need for the new year.
This jacket is a real must-have.
My parents got me the skateboard I wanted. It's pretty cool.
These scissors really come in handy in art class. These colored pencils, too. These new socks, they can be a real lifesaver.
I finally got my own phone to stay in touch with my mom.
Coach aggression out of a quarterback, because we're worried that's what's happened to Justin Fields.
No. Well, here's what could have happened very easily. They could have preached and beat him over the head. If it's not there, check down. If it's not there, check down. And sometimes Dave knows this. Sometimes you have more than one route going deep. You may have another complementary route on the backside, and then a check down. So you actually could go through one, not a check down. You could go one, skip the check down, go to three, back to the check down. So you can look at those safeties. You can see what the coverage is, so on and so forth. So you don't have to do the check downs that quickly. Now, how's the pass protection? How's the running game? Well, how are the receivers? I don't care who you are, Tom.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of 670 The Score. They're talking with Super Bowl winning quarterback and Fox studio analyst, one of my favorite guys, Terry Bradshaw, about Justin Fields. Our next guest, I'm excited to talk to him because, again, I like to get a view of 20,000 feet above the earth. I want to see what the national media has to say, and because I'm tired of hearing from these whole everybody Chicken Little, the sky is falling here in Chicago. So my next guest, good friend of the program, you can find him on Twitter at Yahoo. I just forgot. I was like, wait a minute. I forgot. I am Yahoo Schwab. Our guy from Yahoo Sports, Frank Schwab. Frank, what's going on, buddy? How are you?
What's going on, man? How you doing? How you been?
Good. I don't know. Have you ever been on with Maya? Have you met Maya? Yes,
it's been a while. It's been a long time. Maya,
yes.
It's great seeing you guys, even though things are not going well in Chicago right now, are they? Whew. I just want to lead off by saying, thank goodness the Cubs have faded in that race. Let's go Brewers. Let's go.
That's right. You're a Milwaukee guy.
I was worried for a second there, but I'm not worried today. Let's put it that way.
Dude, that 5-game losing streak did some good for you because you're like, whoo, there goes the division. Yeah, I forgot you're from Milwaukee. We talked about the Bucks 2 years ago, and they won it. That's right. But so talk to me. What are you thinking? You know, everybody's talking Justin Fields isn't the guy. Give me your thoughts on him, and do you think he is the guy? Do you think how much blame goes on him? How much blame goes on Getsy? Because I'm not calling the same screenplay 2 times in a row with my back in the shadow of my own goal line.
Oh my goodness. And yeah, it's real troubling when the Buccaneers afterwards were like, well, we knew what was coming. And, you know, Shaq Barrett picks it off and ends the game, basically. Look, there's you got to look at this 2 different ways in that it looks terrible for the Bears. Like I wrote in power rankings, I had the Bears number 32 because pretty much they look like the worst team of football. Like if you watch them, the Arizona Cardinals are at least fighting. You know, I mean, they've blown both games, but at least they're bringing something to the table. The Bears just look lost. It is shocking. I didn't like the Bears coming into the season. I didn't think that they were going to be as good as a lot of people thought, that improvement people thought, but I didn't think they'd be the worst team of football. And maybe they're not. I mean, maybe they'll get better, but right now it's terrible for them and Justin Fields. But I don't think after 2 games you could just say, oh my goodness, Justin Fields needs to go. I just think it's way too early for that. It looks bad. He has not made any improvement. He actually looks worse as a passer so far, but it's also 2 games. Like, I think that you just need to see this thing through. I think Getsy needs to call much better games. I think they need to get back to really taking advantage of Justin Fields as a runner. I mean, look, in a perfect world, he'd be this great pocket passer throwing for 4,500 yards, but that's just not reality right now. You need to get to a point of what do you do well? Let's scheme that up. It's just not happening for him. I think the play calling, I mean, we've all seen those, you know, the clips on Twitter from the various people of receivers running the same routes. And I mean, it's just so like, what are you guys doing over there? So Getsy deserves a lot of the blame for this. I think Eberflus is really on the hot seat here. I think, man, if this thing goes to 0-4 or 0-5, you just can't keep him around, right? So, but I think you have to see it through Justin Fields. We saw the flashes last year. He looked like a guy who, okay, this was a good foundation. Can you take the next step? The answer so far has been no, but I want to reiterate, it's just 2 games. Let's see where it goes from here, as even as ugly as it's been for 2 games.
And I agree with you because I think I watched just about every game I could the first week. Josh Allen looked awful, you know.
Terrible.
Yeah. So it wasn't like he was the only person who underperformed coming out the gates. You know, everyone's like, okay, this is year 3. And despite one of those years was not under good coaching, obviously. But this is year 2 with Eberflus. But part of the concern I have about Justin Fields is this. Well, 1, the O-line is awful. And I really have an issue with the fact that they made no investment in the O-line because that was something I felt he needed to really take a big step forward. even in year 3, even if you are mismanaged in regards to a coaching standpoint, there are certain things I think that progressively are supposed to happen. I am convinced that he does not read defenses very well. I don't feel the checkdowns are what they should be. But everybody has an IQ level that's different with that. The reason I feel that it's not going to be okay just for him to run, because then that becomes a repeat of what people know you to do. Eventually, the great runners at quarterback become neutralized. You look at the likes of like Michael Vick and so on and so forth, that eventually people modify their game knowing I'm going to force you to pass, because I know if you become the first option is to run, then all we got to do is take that away. And we can control the narrative of what happens on the field. And yet we're seeing those little 5-7 yard passes, not really getting there. So we're still not throwing the ball. So is this because there is no faith in Justin to be able to throw the ball? Like, what do you think is the reason that we know the NFL has become pass first. We know this. Why are we still seeing a repeat of him not throwing the ball, but then he's also not really running either?
It's a bad combination, isn't it, Maya? I mean, a guy you were talking about there who it came to mind was Lamar Jackson. I mean, he came into the league, like you said, run first, run often, and he progressed. He's a heck of a passer now from the pocket. You'd like to see that from Justin Fields. And you're right. When I said just get him running more, I was thinking more of the short term. Like, you need to win some games. You need to get out of this funk. What do you do well at offense? Probably Justin Fields running. But I think you're absolutely right that he's got to progress as a player. It's got to go somewhere with him as a passer. And I agree with you on the offensive line, but I also say this: Justin holds the ball too long. Like the ball needs to come out. Like sacks are a quarterback stat too. Yes. And there's so many times where you're just like, is he just not processing this stuff fast enough? Is he just one of those guys who I'm going to make every single play happen. I'm going to hold the ball to the bitter end. It's just not a coincidence that he's the most sacked quarterback each of the last 2 years. He's got to get rid of the ball faster, and that could be processing. And part of that's coaching. Hey, get the ball out. Here's where your read is. We're going to scheme this up so it's an easy, quick read for you. If this isn't there, you go there. And I just don't see that happening. So it's completely. I think all three of us would agree. It's just a complete, fundamentally, just organizational failure. Like, it's not just Justin Fields. It's also not just Luke Getsy. It's also not just Matt Eberflus. It is everybody right now. The play calling isn't setting up Fields to succeed. Fields himself isn't succeeding because he's not playing well. He's not passing the ball well. He's not seeing anything well. And then just everything else. The defense has been terrible. Like, Mike Evans is still running in the secondary. Just everything
after his push off.
Yeah. Everything is bad right now. And the quarterback is the guy. I mean, he's in the spotlight. We all expect these big things out of Justin Fields, but it's literally right now, it's such a failure on every single step of the way for the Bears. But again, I do want to say just 2 games. Like, I'm not giving up yet on Justin Fields. Like, I loved him coming out of Ohio State. I thought it was a great move up by the Bears to go get him. I thought it was smart. I thought it was aggressive. You didn't see much in his first year, but like you said, not a great coaching staff. He might still not have a great coaching staff, by the way. But, last year you really saw, like, wow, here's
a lot of flashes.
A lot of flashes, but just the next step hasn't been there. That's what's troubling to me. It's just you expect the next thing. Jalen Hurts, right? You expect that year 3 jump. Oh, here we go. Okay, now he's putting it all together. That hasn't happened for Justin yet. And it's going to have to happen sooner, or things are just going to have to change there.
What do you think about them having to run the ball more? They don't run the ball more. They don't run the outside zone, which they're adamant about. We got to find linemen for this outside zones, for the wide zone scheme, outside zone scheme, and then run outside zone. It's power. The long run we had last week with it was 21 personnel. You had 2 running backs, you had a fullback and a tailback. Nice quick toss off the left side, gains 28 yards downhill. They don't do that. They haven't rolled the pocket for Justin. They haven't had any or a lot of intentional quarterback runs. They're taking away the thing that he does best. He might not be a great passer, but he's a good passer. You watch in college, he's a good passer. He's a very good passer. So, but they're taking away one weapon in his arsenal, and that's running. How much is that going to hurt them? And what do you think that will happen this season if they don't start moving the pocket, making called runs, allowing him to do what he did? Because if he starts running and getting 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50-yard runs like he had last year, defenses are going to have to change, and that's going to open up a lot for him behind that second level.
Yeah, and something you said right there, it really clicked with me. Like, why aren't they running the ball more? And I'm not talking about Justin Fields. I'm talking about Khalil Herbert. I'm talking about Roshan Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Get Dante, back involved in the offense. Roshan looks good. Like Roshan,
he does.
passes the eye test of whoa, this guy's really good. We all know Khalil Herbert's a good runner. That could take some pressure off Justin Fields. That could get the offense going. If you're, all of a sudden it's 2nd and 3. You're not playing behind the stick.
Big difference.
Like, and then you could start to open things up and make things easier for your quarterback. And yes, it goes back to what do you want to do as an offense? And it just doesn't seem like you have an identity right now at all.
I was just about to say that, Frank. About great minds think alike.
It's like, what is it? Is it really Justin Fields just being a passer? This is not working right now.
No.
And to Maya's point though, it's like, what do you do? Do you say our development of our quarterback has to be he needs to make plays from the pocket like this? If he's going to go somewhere as a pro, this has got to happen. Versus we're 0-2 and we got to win. It's week 3. We got to win. What do we do? And that's something that the organization itself kind of has to have a come to Jesus moment of do we just short term we need to play to our strengths versus long term of we need to get Justin Fields progressed as a passer. The progression as a passer hasn't happened yet. You're 0-2. Matt Eberflus is probably like, I ain't going to be around to see Halloween if we don't start winning games. So that's a real tough thing. But one thing that they have to be debating internally, like you talked about, Shawn, is just, do we just run Justin more? Do we get him some design runs, move the pocket, let him use his movement skills? Because that is what he does well as a quarterback right now. And you got to start. Your season's not over at 0-2 by any means, but you got to start winning games soon. This can't get to 0-4, 0-5.
No.
See, the reason I played that clip coming out is what I've been telling a lot of people. Think of how similar this was to Mitch Trubisky in 2019 when after the year Mitch had, and you saw him running. Remember in 18, he had the nice long touchdown run against the Patriots. He passed well. And then the next year, you got to win from the pocket, got to win from the pocket, got to win from the pocket, got to win from the pocket. And he wasn't running. And there were plenty of times when he had open lanes. It's third and 8, and there's no one within 14 yards, and he's still in the pocket. Justin's doing that same thing. And that's why I play that clip. Can they be coaching the Justin Fields out of Justin Fields? Because to me, that's what it seems like. Because they're not allowing him to. I'm not saying they're not allowing him to run, but Terry Bradshaw said, "Are they beating him over the head with it? Beating him over the head with it? Beating him over the head with it?" And if they are, then that's the biggest issue.
And it could be a combination too of the coaches, or else Justin Fields being that way, because Justin doesn't want to be typecast as just, hey, I'm a runner, I'm not a passer. He wants to be all-around good quarterback. And so in his mind, he might be like, I can't just be taken off. He even said in the offseason he doesn't want to run that much. I mean, he's like, whatever. It's like, you want to rush for another 1,000-yard season? I think he said, I hope not. And I get where he's coming from. So it might be in his mindset of, if I want to be a great quarterback, I got to be in the pocket, And so you're not necessarily looking for the best play in that moment. It's just, again, it's just a complete fiasco through 2 games. Everything's gone wrong. Everything. Right. The line hasn't played well. They're running the ball enough. Justin Fields isn't playing like he did last year. They're not really playing to Justin Fields' strengths right now. Like literally every box you could check off of the Bears being bad in 2 weeks, they've checked. It's just everything is bad. And they just need to simplify things. Just okay, what do we do well? You know what? We have 2 really, really good tailbacks right now. Okay, let's start with that with our game plan. It's just something's got to change with the Bears because this has just been so ugly the first 2 weeks.
Well, it's not going to get any better this week. They have to play Kansas City if I'm correct on this. So you're not about to walk into a situation that's going to improve your confidence in any way, shape, or form. This is not just a good look for them. So I don't.
After the Chiefs already lost at home week 1, so
yeah,
they're on 10 now. They're ready.
So, you've got Bear fans who are going to be like, okay, so we lose opener to the Packers, which makes everyone get in their feelings instantly because it's the Packers. You know how that is. Okay, so then, you didn't do good against Tampa Bay. You still didn't look. And the penalties in the first game, too. I was like, wow. The amount of penalties was just out of control. So then now you have to go to Kansas City. It's just, again, it's going to probably look not good for them, which are going to make people more critical. And I feel like I'm watching the Bears do what they tend to do. They want what they want in a quarterback. And regardless to what they have, they don't often want to work to that person's strengths. So they keep doing things that does not help with the development of that quarterback because that's not what they do. I mean, how many quarterbacks have we had now? The number is so astronomical, I've forgotten it at this point. It's not their strength at developing quarterback. And if he can't be, and I'll be honest, I don't know that their GM is fully sold on him, if you want to know the truth. It was a piece he kept, but I don't know that Ryan Poles is like in love with Justin Fields when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I mean, you go back to last year, look at the first few games of last season when they just were passing the ball 10, 12 times a game. Like it was a coaching staff and an approach that led me to believe they might not be sold on Justin Fields. They might not like Justin Fields. And then he kind of played well enough where you're like, all right, we got to give him a second year now, or with them at least a second year. We're not going to take Bryce Young. We're not going to, do all this stuff. We're going to just see what we got with Justin Fields, and it's not turning out well. You talk about, and the funny thing is, you talk about the Chiefs game. Most times when you lose to a team like the Chiefs, it's okay. Like Jacksonville Jaguars lost a close-ish game to the Chiefs. It's like, whatever. Chiefs are going to go 14-3 this year. A lot of teams are going to lose to the Chiefs. The Bears can't have a moral victory here. You go in, you lose 27-24 to the Chiefs. Okay, that's better, I guess, than the first 2 weeks. We're still 0-3. Like it really doesn't move the needle at all to get a moral victory right now. So, yeah, and as far as that goes, developing quarterbacks, they need to figure that out at some point. Like whether it's Caleb Williams or Drake May, or if it bottoms out this year and they get that bad, at some point, the Bear, I know you guys saw that stat too after week one I think it was week one, maybe it was Thursday night, of Justin Jefferson having more yards than any Bears receiver in history. Justin Jefferson is 24 years old. And we're talking about the Bears have never had a 4,000-yard passer. This is almost inconceivable that a franchise could go this long without having a great passing game. Like, it's a passing league, and the Bears organizationally are going to have to figure this out, whether it's with Justin Fields or their next guy or their next coaching staff or whoever it is. They got to get into the modern era here. Like, it's the game has passed the Chicago Bears by, and that's why they're struggling so much the past few years.
Guys, we're joined by Frank Schwab from Yahoo Sports, talking Chicago Bears football right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Talk to me about we're going to stay with the offense for just one moment. A lot of our guys are hurt. All right, they get Nate. Well, Nate's not hurt, but Nate Davis isn't there. He had, and this should be a good lesson to all people in the media when they say it's a personal matter, to respect the fact that it's a personal matter. We found out that it was his mother who passed away, who had been sick for a long time, and there were so many people here like, this guy's, we give him $30 million, and this guy's a jerk. He's a bum. He's not doing anything, and they told you it's a personal matter, and people are saying, well, they should have told us more, and I'm like, personal matter means personal matter. End it. Be done with it. Right. So he's coming back. Okay, Tevin Jenkins, if he comes back, he's been hurt because of his back. Those two guys, that's a whole different ballgame. And the run game is the front three, two guards in your center. That's your run game. For all intents and purposes, that's your run game. How much more effective do you think they can be when they do come back? Because Ja'Tyre Carter taking over for Nate Davis, plays okay. Cody Whitehair, you moved him from center to guard. He plays okay, but his best position is center. Then you put in Lucas Patrick at center, who is not a good center, and Vita Vea was just literally just picking him up and holding him like Carter did in college. Picked up the Tennessee quarterback. That's literally what Vita Vea was doing to Lucas Patrick. How much better do you think this offense will be as far as the run game, which will translate to the passing game, when these two guys come back? Because this isn't the starting five that they had they envisioned starting the season. And they're playing with literally three people out of position.
Yeah, and that's tough. The offensive line. And by the way, Vita Vea is a freak. Like every week, it's like Vita Vea does something. That guy's 350.
How did you do that? How are you that quick?
What a player he is. But yes, when you've seen a few teams in the NFL, Houston Texans are another, where your offensive line, you get 2-3 guys out of position or out or on IR or whatever it's going to be. You just can't function as an offense. Like it gets. We see it in preseason every single year. There aren't 150 good offensive linemen to go around, much less when you get beyond 150, right? Like when you get into the backups, it could get really ugly on the offensive line. Nate Davis, I hope he's doing well, all that. Yeah, there's a reason they paid him what they did. He's a good lineman. I think once they start to get healthy, things will calm down. But that's the thing. It's the NFL. There's always injuries. There's always something you got to deal with. Nobody makes it through a season unscathed. So they're having to deal with a lot of adversity right now. And when you got that much upheaval on the offensive line, it is going to affect your offense tremendously.
Mm-hmm. Let's go to the defense. Why are we giving up so many points? We got a defensive head coach. Defensive coordinator is an extension of the guy. And the guy, Eberflus, was good in Indianapolis. We added 2 stud linebackers. We added 2
that's
big
the
guys.
problem, Shawn. Let me start with that, because I don't want to get lost in this. Look, I know you guys love your linebackers. You got great history of linebackers. The NFL game in 2023 is not about paying off-ball linebackers $80 million. Like, it is just Tremaine Edmonds was not even he's not Roquan. Like, you just pay Roquan. I don't know what you guys were doing there. But if you're not going to pay Roquan, don't compound the issue by paying Tremaine Edmonds, who's not as good of a player as Roquan and doesn't play one of the premium positions in the NFL anymore. Off-ball linebacker is almost like the running back of defense. It is a devalued position. And you guys went out and got Edwards, got Edmonds. Those two guys, like, it's like, that's great. Where's the pass rusher? Where's the cornerback? Where's the help in the secondary? How are you going to where's the interior pass rush? Like, these are the things you pay for. Pay Javon Hargrave. Don't pay Tremaine Edmonds. Like, this is just, that's why I didn't understand the Bears' approach in the offseason. I think you're really seeing it now. They had a ton of cap space, a ton.
Still
you come away with what? You come away with Nate Davis. I think that was a good signing. You come away with Tremaine Edmonds, TJ Edwards. I love TJ Edwards. He's a Wisconsin guy, right? But he had another guy from Wisconsin play really, really well last year at the end of the season at linebacker. He's making nothing. Let him go. Like, what are we doing here? I think that's the problem. When you ask me, what's the problem with the defense? It is that you had some resources to spend to fix the defense, and you spent them so suboptimally that it's just not going to move the needle. Tremaine Edmonds could have a great, great year. He's not moving the needle on that defense. What you needed was get a defensive tackle and get some pressure up front. Get an edge rusher who could heat up the quarterback. Get a cornerback who could lock somebody down like Mike Evans last week. The Bears didn't do that. They got off-ball linebackers, it's just a luxury if you got it. I don't know. I was flummoxed by what the Bears did. I was weirded out by how many people were celebrating. Oh, the Bears are so much better on defense. I'm like, really? I don't really love what they did. And I think that that's showing through. I think that they just fundamentally made a mistake overvaluing a devalued position. Well,
what about they signed Billings, and he was a known one technique who's hasn't been 2 games, but hasn't been very present, in my opinion. You got Justin Jones. You signed him last year. You signed one Walker. Okay, another defensive end. It doesn't move the needle. But then you drafted 2 guys, Javon Dexter and Zach Pickens. Why are we still not good? I mean, are those guys we need to give them more time to develop? Because you did beef up the interior. You got Billings. You drafted the 2, 3. The defensive tackles. You still had Justin Jones from last year, but we're still not. We signed Yannick Ngakoue in the offseason, but we're still not getting to the quarterback. We're still not stopping the run. And I know I was at the game. I was in the locker room after the game on the first week, and I asked Walker, and he's like, "Well, we stopped the run." I'm like, "Yeah, but not on key downs." You stop the run on first down. Who the hell cares? But it's 3rd and 4, and they get 5. You're not stopping the run. And so what is the issue? Do we just need to let Zach Pickens and Dexter develop more? Or do we just say, hey, bump this, let's go get a big-time free agent? And how big is the not signing or not getting of Jalen Carter looking now for the Bears?
And that's what I was going to bring up. Like, look, I get why they moved down and didn't trade him. There's a lot of red flags on him. I do get it. But, man, that's the kind of guy you gamble on. I mean, he had such talent. You're seeing it. He's unbelievable at the Eagles so far. And I know you guys I was surprised after – I was looking something up for some story I was writing. So I'm going to search on Twitter. And I just came across Bears fans, just everybody like, why in the heck do we not have Jalen Carter right now? Why did they trade out of that spot? And I get it because he was perfect. He's perfect for what they need. And having these other guys is great. Like, you could develop guys. That's awesome. You need complementary pieces. But you need, as Jerry Jones termed it so long ago, the war daddy. You need one dude that can just wreck an offensive line, and then everybody else eats, right? Like, I mean, it helps everybody else. Right now, yes, you have some good Ngakoue, whatever. Good players on a defensive line, but nobody who's changing an offensive line scheme. Nobody who you're like, where is he? Where's Jalen Carter? Okay, that's where he is. There's no guy like that right now. And I think that's what the Bears need. It's not easy to get, and that's why the missed opportunity. I think that's why Bears fans are so upset. That you had an opportunity to get one of those guys in the draft at the 8th pick. And they said, nah, the red flags. We're going to move 2 spots down, get an offensive lineman. And meanwhile, the Eagles are like, thank you. We got the defensive rookie of the year. We appreciate it. It's just, you need a guy. I think that's what they need. They need one guy who's he can wreck an offensive line. And they just don't have that right now.
They really don't. And believe you me, it's frustrating. And before the season started, I said, hey, listen, week 3 for the Bears is going to be important. I was like, what? I said, this could be their coming out game. I said they could catch, Kansas City, maybe, little high off the hawk, winning a Super Bowl last year. They're fired up. Catch them early. Then Detroit goes and does what they do. I'm like, okay, thanks. So now we're not sneaking up on anybody.
Yeah, right.
So
right.
I'm really concerned about Wednesday. I'm really concerned about Sunday because this Chiefs team is going to be flying on all cylinders. You got Kelsey back. You got Jones back. I don't see them losing for another maybe 3, 4, 5 weeks. As the lawnmower, as the landscaping guys right next to me.
The thing about the Chiefs, I wrote about this after Sunday. Their defense is good. Like all of a sudden, the rest of the NFL needs to be like, "Uh-oh, we let the Chiefs get a good defense now?" Because through 2 weeks, they've given up. If you take away the pick six, obviously from the Lions, they've given up 23 points in 2 games to Detroit and Jacksonville, who don't have bad offenses. Now, what happens when the Bears come to town trying to fix their offense when the Chiefs' defense is playing really, really well? Chris Jones. The Bears needed Chris Jones. And I know it's easy to say that, right? Oh, just go get a Chris Jones. It's not that easy. I understand that. But that's what every NFL team needs. You need a guy like that could just go in and wreck shop. Right now, the Chiefs are a good defense. And that's crazy because the offense is going to be good. They got the greatest player on the planet playing quarterback.
Yeah.
Their offense is going to be good. Their defense is good all of a sudden. And like you said, the Bears aren't sneaking up on them. They're 0-1 at home. You're right. That Lions win did you no favors at all.
If I ever hated the Lions before, man, I really hate them after this one.
But the Lions have been trending this way for a couple seasons.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
To be a much improved team.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, so that win, okay, fair and square. It is what it is. I mean, sucks for the Bears. That's in your division. Right. So Green Bay, guess what? You might have thought, oh, maybe we don't have to deal with that. But now you got to scratch your head because their backup quarterback, it seems like their progression is moving on where it was Favre, then, it was Rodgers. Now you're looking at, what you have in the new guy. And it's like, it just keeps moving. And yet we can't figure out one.
The craziest stats in the NFL right now is the Chicago Bears have not had an all-pro quarterback since 1950. They have not had a first-team all-pro quarterback since 1995. Johnny Lujack. It was Johnny Lujack. You can go look it up. It's because I looked this. I found this a couple of years. I was like, this can't be right. There's no way this can be right. And I looked it up. I'm like, wow. They have not had the best quarterback in football in. My math is bad. 73 years. 73 years. You just stumble upon it once. Like, oh, hey.
Look we backed into. Oh, God. Not.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the Packers have done. The Packers didn't spend a number 1 pick on any of these guys, right? Favre was a 2nd-round pick. Rodgers was a late first. And we'll see what Jordan Love is. But
they traded for Favre, remember? Because he was
traded the first.
He was hanging out in Atlanta drinking all night. They're like, yeah, we don't want him
drinking his way out of the league. There's no question about that. But teams just Dak Prescott, whatever it is, teams all the time get lucky. Tom Brady, Brock Purdy. I mean, whatever it is. The Bears haven't done that once in 7 decades.
For Prescott, he's been ordained with a good old line. He's got something good. But okay, so let me ask you this question. So we watched preseason, watch some of the backups, and that backup looked pretty decent in preseason. I hate to say it. I don't want to say it because it's Iowa State. So I try not to say that out loud, but Iowa State has now produced. I mean, look what's happening in San Francisco right now. I feel like, and it's not all Justin's fault. I will agree with you on this, but I'm going to tell you something. At some point, if there's not a change in his trajectory, wasn't it something like Baggin has something like 7? He's an accumulation of 7,000 snaps in his crazy career between college and pro and all this stuff. What happens if people start clamoring and say, put him in and let's just see what happens? Is that right or wrong?
You know what? I think it's right at some point, but there's a point of no return. Once you do that, you're not going back to Justin Fields. You're just not. You shot it. It's once you go to Bagent and you just say, let's see what we got with the kid. Well, then you're just moved on from Justin Fields. Because I don't think if Bagent goes out there and look, we've seen a lot of preseason heroes look really bad in the regular season. I don't know where Bagent's going. Maybe he's good. We just don't know, right?
Don't know.
But yeah, once you say, let's see what the kid's got, and he goes 10 of 26 for 92 yards, you can't the next week go back and say, hey, Justin, hey, we love you. That's the problem. That's why for people calling, I've heard crazy things already, oh, they need to start the kid right now. You can't. You don't want to, after 2 games, overreact and kind of ruin Justin Fields at that point. And so, yeah, I agree at some point. If you're, man, how bad could it get for the Bears this year? 2-12 or whatever, the worst case scenario is. At that point, whatever. I guess let's try something new. but it's got to be ways down the road. That's the thing. Just because, again, you can't reverse that. You can't put that toothpaste back in the tube. It's done. Once you move on from Justin, it's over with him, and you're basically starting over at quarterback.
So the only way he gets to play is if Justin gets hurt, and you can go back to Justin and say, "Well, the only reason he played was because
and
Justin got hurt." Okay.
Or he could get, he could be like Brock Purdy didn't start because Garoppolo stunk. It was because he got hurt. So that could happen. You don't hope for it, but that would be the scenario, of course. If Justin gets hurt, Badgett goes in there and lights the world on fire. It's like, well, what can you do? Like, hey, now we got our next quarterback. We'll see though. I mean, I don't think you can voluntarily make that move.
Oh no, I totally agree with him. Everyone's throwing everything around at this point because they're so frustrated. If you had to give Ryan Poles a grade right now, what would you say?
It can't be. I mean, C is average, right? I remember from my college days that C is average. Struggled to get there, but it's got to be a D, right? Like I can't, or maybe worse. Like there's an 0-2 football team that literally I've watched this team twice, as you guys have, obviously. They don't do anything well. What, like if you were to sit down and say, all right, we're 2 games into the season, what did the Chicago Bears do well? You'd be like, I don't think
nothing on offense or defense.
No, nothing on offense or defense where you could say they run the ball really well. Well, they're not even committed to that, so they're not doing that. Like there's nothing the Chicago Bears are doing well. There's no kind of rays of hope right now. I mean, even some of the young guys, look, Poles is Brisker pick was great. I think Gordon's going to be a good corner. All this stuff, he's made some good moves. It's not like he's been a absolute disaster, but you look at the totality of the roster right now, and it's kind of scary that they've taken no steps forward. A team that earned the first pick of the draft last year seems to be worse. Like, that's not a good place to be. I don't think they use their resources well, as we talked about a little bit ago. So, yeah, it's a D or worse. You can't get to a C. You can't say that, oh, that's average. No, not with the way the Bears look right now. So it's a failing grade right now. It's not a grade that my mom would have liked to see on my report card. Let's put it that way.
Hey, Frank, great stuff, my friend. As always, I appreciate it. But before you go, let everyone know where you can find you and your work online.
Yeah, easiest place is I'm still calling it Twitter, Yahoo Schwab, or just go to yahoo.com/NFL. Always on there talking about something or another.
You have any podcasts or anything?
Oh yeah, Sunday Night Blitz. We do. We run down all the games. Me and Jason Fitz, who's over from ESPN Radio. We signed him free agent deal. You
guys are getting profitable free agents.
Good free agents, right? But that drops every Sunday night / Monday morning. We love doing that. We just go through every game, and unfortunately have not had many good things to say about you guys, Chicago Bears. But yeah, the Sunday Night Blitz is
well, neither do we, so don't worry.
Nobody does. That's the beauty, as everybody agrees right now.
Well, that's the thing. We don't have it, but I'm telling you, I have not given up on Justin Fields when his O-line gets back. And I think, and hopefully,
I don't think anybody should be. It's 2 games. Like,
yeah,
it is
hopefully
2
the
games.
staff hears
it is 2 games.
Hopefully the staff understands you need to get an identity. Last year, okay, at least we'll run David Montgomery. Okay, good. That we knew that what was coming. We're gonna run David Montgomery. We're gonna run Justin Fields. That's it. If you're gonna do that, fine, but make a decision and go with it. Because
I'm telling you what I would do. Like, nobody's asked me. I'd say, you know what? We're not going to change Justin Fields. We're going to change the running back. Roshan Johnson's going to be my 25 carry game guy. I think that kid looks good. Like, that kid looks like he should have gone a rounder, maybe not 2, but a round earlier than he did. I mean, he's explosive, and he's
everything that they said he would. He just happened to play behind a freak of a running back and Bijan Robinson at Texas.
Right. He is. Yes, he is. He might have been the second best running back in the draft. It just happens that his teammate was the first best. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Khalil's good. I like Khalil too, but if you move Khalil back to basically what he was behind Montgomery, which was a great 8 to 10 carry a game guy, I'd commit to Roshan right now. I think he's got that talent. I really do. I know it's just 2 games. I'm overreacting, but just seeing him, he's got some.
The thing I like is he can pass pro, so you don't have to take him out on 3rd down. That's a huge thing. He's a full run. He's a complete running back, and I love it. Hey, Frank, again, great stuff, buddy. We'll be in touch soon. And take it easy on my Bears.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys.
Bye, Frank.
All righty. Guys, that's Frank Schwab from Yahoo Sports. We're going to take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, we're going to talk a little more. Maybe we'll put a little bow on it and get your thoughts on what Frank said and your thoughts as well. All right, keep it locked right here, folks. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
All right.
Off the fake, Fields against the grain, finds Jesse James. field. With time, delivers down the field. And Calvert still running. Made one way to Fields, stumbling. Trying to cut it back. Justin Fields making magic happen. There goes Fields. Touchdown.
911, operator 901. Where's the emergency?
127 Brynmere.
Okay, what's going on there?
I'd like to order a pizza for delivery.
Ma'am, you've reached 911. This is an emergency line.
Large with half pepperoni, half mushrooms.
You know you've called 911. This is an emergency line.
How long it'll be?
Okay, ma'am, is everything okay over there? Do you have an emergency or not?
Yes.
And you're unable to talk because...
Right.
Is there someone in the room with you? Just say yes or no.
Yes.
Okay, it looks like I have an officer about a mile from your location. Are there any weapons in your house?
No.
Can you stay on the phone with me?
No. See you soon. Thank you.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms. On Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel, you can find us at Sports Zone Chicago. And on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
When I'm flying, I put my helmet on, my visor down, my mask up. You don't know who I am. Whether I'm African American, Asian American, Hispanic, white, male or female. You just know I'm an American airman kicking your butt. I'm General C.Q. Brown Jr. Come join us.
Fields well protected. Heaves end zone. It's Claypool. He threaded it through. Touchdown, Chicago.
Double moves. He's all the way on the outside here. So he's going to press up. You're going to have Cole Kmet come out. He's going to break to the corner and then back to the inside. Good timing on the throw as that safety comes over. You see that flash right in front of Chase Claypool, but good concentration to finish that catch.
The last sparkling moment for Chase Claypool in the NFL was the touchdown in the final seconds against Tampa Bay when he was with Pittsburgh last year to win that game. It has been a long road to feel good again.
Back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of Fox. And we just got done with our friend Frank Schwab from Yahoo Sports talking Bears football. And it was interesting, man. And like I said, I like to hear perspective of national writers. And it's pretty much the same. All right. It's pretty much the same. As mad as I am about the Bears, as frustrated as I am, I haven't given up on them. And here's why. This offensive line. Okay. We got to figure out what's wrong with Tevin. Okay. Nate Davis should be back. And that's the one thing, just to kind of get off this for a second. It should show you stop being a fucking asshole. Okay. You know, how many people were down on, and I was down on him too, like, come on, man. But we didn't know. But I wasn't like, oh, cut him. He's this, he's that. No, like you paid $30 million in the fact that he had a personal situation going on, you know, and people were ripping him and calling him all kinds of names. Like, check yourself. Like, what kind of piece of shit are you? Like, there's a personal matter. You know, he was at Hal's Hall last week and, you know, he hugged Coach Eberflus and everything. That should have showed you that it was excused. And one of the radio hosts, like, they should have come out and just said it's excused. No, they said he's gone for personal reasons. That's enough. If they let you know it's personal reasons, then it's excused. Okay? Everyone dragged this guy through the mud, and people can be pieces of shit, and no little apology is going to make it better. Just stop being a jagbag. All right? Stop being a jagbag. And it's unfortunate. Coach Williams, the defensive coordinator, is gone for a personal issue. How about you lay off of him? Okay, till you find out what the issue is. It could be and if you're not smart enough to figure out that, he probably had it's most likely there was never anything of drugs or suicide or anything like that in his past. So common sense, if he's gone for personal issues, it's probably because someone's sick. Usually that's what it is. Okay. If you couldn't figure that out, now specifics, of course, we don't know that. But if you couldn't figure out someone in his family is probably sick, and you should have been able to kind of put two and two together. If you've been a fan of the NFL for so long and you see a lot of people taking out personal reasons, or you know what I mean, but just respect their privacy. If they don't have to tell you, they said it was personal issues, let it be. Let it be. And I know he got paid tons. I know that. And we wanted him. We need him. But there's some things in life that are just a little more important than football and your fandom. So hopefully Coach Williams and his family are okay. There's a lot going on here. Everybody's talking and this and talking about Justin Fields this, Justin Fields that. And I get it, because we're passionate. We're expecting finally expecting a big bounce back season, and it can still be there. All right, and here's why. I mentioned the offensive line. You don't have your starting offensive line. Your middle three, which is the run game, everybody's out of position. I got Lucas Patrick at center. He doesn't need to be center. He's horrible. Vita Vea just abused him like he does a lot of other centers. Okay, and then you had Cody Whitehair moving to guard when his strongest position would be center. So now you weaken the center position, you weaken the guard position, and you had Jatiri Carter at the other guard. So you got three people that are not starting in their normal spots that you anticipated starting are now starting. It's going to be a whole lot different when they get back. When they get back, that's the issue. That's the question. And the other question is this. What are you doing, Luke Getsy? All right. Yes, Justin has to play better, and I'll talk about him in a second. All right. What are you doing, and why are you not putting him in a position to be successful? Before we went out of break, that first pass, he's rolling out to his left. He's rolling out to his left. And for people to say he can't read defenses, well, he threw that one. And the second play, he threw it deep to Darnell Mooney. So it's not that he can't read defenses. And everybody's so quick to say that, and everybody's so quick to there's something going on in his head. And we talked about as we came out of break right before Frank, they might have beat him over the head with this. I want you to do this. I want you to do that. And remember one thing I said? Remember I said Justin's a good soldier. Justin doesn't have that asshole in him. Okay? He's a good soldier. He does what he's told, and he makes plays. He's got to have that resilience, that pushback. All right? Because did I have it up here? The one play that I showed earlier. Yeah, this play. All right? So you got Rashawn Johnson. Is that him, Rashawn Johnson, free? So what this is, it's a cover three. It's a cover three, and this is a cover three beater. When you put two guys in a zone, when you put one guy in stress, the safety in the middle, the person in the middle third, he's the guy you stress, he's the guy you read. Because on the other side, the cornerback, he has a deep third, so it's pretty much man to him, so he's gone. On the right side, you had another guy running like a deep out. He's gone. So the only guy left is the guy in the middle and the running back trailing him. And I know this because I remember this specifically when I was the defensive coordinator at Curie. One of the players, all right, Kwasi Chandler. He was the guy who passed away with the heart issue in 2009. His football IQ is so good. And that's a big shout out to the Windy City Dolphins, the guys who coach over there. That's like Brian Page, Lamont Gilliam, Mike. So there's a lot of football. These kids are very, very smart. Well, they played a lot of national schedules. They played like a 12 or 13 game or 14 game schedule with a lot of national teams. And we're running cover 3. And his job at this point was he was one of the deep third. And he was like, or he had the flat. And he was like, well, coach, if I let him go, the cornerbacks run off with the other person. And this second guy's free. And I was like, me and the head coach looked at me like, oh, shit. You're right. Like, oh. And it's a kid. He was a junior. Like, oh, my God. Like, and so that did a lot for me and for the head coach. So the head coach is able, now he can draw plays. Whenever there's a cover 3, he can just flood his zone and move and take care of one of the defenders and have a second guy trailing. So that's how I'm very well aware of what they did. And it was a great play call. So you have to, and here's where Justin's got to rise above this as well. Like, it's a cover 3. So why aren't you throwing it? All right. Getsy's allowing him to lollygag back on his dropbacks from the shotgun. I don't like that. All right. I don't like that. Just because it's a shotgun doesn't mean you lollygag back. It's about the timing. Because if you got back with a sense of urgency, like if you're under center, it's timing. 1, 2, 3, throw. 1, 2, 3, hitch, throw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, throw. But he's going back there waiting, slinging. Nah, get back on rhythm. That's Getsy's fault for allowing that to happen. That's Justin's fault because I'm sure he's been told, I'm sure he's seen it now, that his lackadaisical drop back is killing him. It's ruining the timing. So those areas need to be picked up. But Justin's got to do a much better job. And why? It's not like Justin's dumb. So when people say he can't read defenses, yeah, I don't buy that. Why? Because he picked up, they have an aptitude test that everyone takes. And he scored the highest that you could score on the aptitude test. So why isn't he gripping it and ripping it? That has to do with his mental. Something's going on up here. And that could be because of Getsy. That could be what I'm saying. Are you coaching the Justin Fields out of Justin Fields? You want to make him a passer. Okay, great. But don't stop him from doing what he does well. Add the passing into it. Incremental steps. Don't take the run completely away. You reduce it, yes. Completely away, no. My guy Nomad in the house. Good morning, Papa. Good morning. You just want to see Getsy one time open a game with Justin attacking a little defense with a deep man. I've been saying that. Even if if it's covered, then just throw it out of bounds, throw it out of the back of the end zone or over everybody's head where no one can get it, just to let them know. Just to let them know, like, damn, they went deep once. If we get caught, like, you don't understand. And Nomad was a defensive back, and he's speaking from experience. And this is and from a defensive coordinator, I'm speaking from experience as well. Once they go deep once, you're like, look, we can't get beat deep. That's always in the back of your mind. So you can clear people out. Like that picture I just had. The picture I just had, you clear people out. All right. This guy ran an in. So he occupied the guy in the middle of the field. On the left side was a cornerback. He had pretty much man-to-man if it's cover 3. And then the guy on the right was occupied by somebody else. You occupy people. This would have been a perfect touchdown. And remember when I told you, remember when we talked about the Buffalo Bills game? It was that third down, and Justin Fields, it was a cover 2. The right safety came up on a deep out. So he came up on there, and Darnell Mooney, he was coming across from the left side behind that safety. Safety on just his left, that's not his territory. So crossing the field, he was running behind the safety. And there was a guy in it coming, giving pressure from his right. If Justin Fields takes that hit and throws that ball, I said after the game, I was like, if he would have thrown that, I would have been okay. connect it, hit it or not, I didn't care. I didn't give a shit. The fact that he saw and threw it is what was important to me. He didn't make that throw. And that was a cause for concern for me, because I don't know now if he's going to make those throws. Something's going on up here, because he's made those throws in college. He's made some throws like that last year. And why not this year? What have they done to him? What are they preaching to him? What are they beating him over the head with that's causing him to think too much? That's the issue. You don't want him thinking. You want him knowing. If you're in cover 3, you're like, oh, man, perfect. I know exactly where I'm going, because I know my routes. I know who's running what over here, and I know where the weak spot is, and this guy's going to be in that area. That's where I'm going. Eric said it on Monday. Exactly the same thing. So, Getsy, what are you doing? What are you doing? Because you're killing me, Smalls. You're killing us, Smalls, as a Bears fan base. I'm not ready, not even close to giving up on Justin. But this is where you got to be out there. This is where you have to sit with him in the meeting room and say, okay, what were you thinking? Because here's what this guy's doing over here. It's cover 3. It's either cover 3 or cover 1. So this cornerback has got this guy. This cornerback has got this guy. This guy's running, the third guy is running a crossing route to occupy the middle of the 3, or the single safety if it was a cover 1. And this guy's running out at the seam. Why are you not? You have to understand that. They've got to get him to understand and to be able to give that back to you. And if he is doing that and still making these plays, there are a lot of people who go to sports psychologists. You might have to put him in a sports psychologist. Yeah. I don't know, Cornelius. I don't know. That you have to be detailed. It doesn't matter what sport, what position you play, your base is everything. You name me one sport where your feet aren't the most important part. From hitting in baseball, to pitching in baseball, to playing defense in baseball, playing defense in basketball, to being on the on the attack in basketball. On hockey, when you're skating forward, skating backward, where you're a goalie, going left to right, in soccer. In football, your feet, your base is everything. And they're not addressing this. They're not holding him to this standard. Because if that's the case, good quarterback coaches, every single time he came off, I need you to go back. I need you to drop back quicker. You're not dropping back fast enough. You're destroying the timing of this play. You're destroying the timing. I need better. We're going to work on this in practice. If you're beating him over the head with check down Charlie, beat his ass over the head with get your ass back on your 3-step and 5-step drop in gun. First of all, go a hell of a lot more under center. But regardless, if it's gun, get your 3- and 5-step drop quick. That's where Getsy and Janoko are dropping the ball. That's malpractice. It's coaching malpractice right there. And here, run the goddamn ball. Please. Because we see you're not running outside zone anymore. I think you forgot about that whole concept. Now it's just power. And it's okay. That's fine. But then why not go with 21, 22 personnel? I'll go 21 personnel. Run to the right side. Why haven't you checked any offensive linemen in the Monday night game? Steelers, Browns. Eric Kramer texts me. He goes, tell me you didn't see the dude check in. Offensive lineman check in. Here. He goes, please tell me you saw how Browns used a backup offensive lineman at fullback on a power leading up on Fitzgerald and put him, Fitzpatrick. Minka Fitzpatrick, and put him on his back. Come on, man. You can't get that creative? Oh, you got me fired up. Well, listen, 2 hours is come and gone. I want to thank my guest, Emilio Bucks from the Chicago Plunked podcast for coming on, talking baseball with us. And then our friend, Frank Schwab from Yahoo Sports, talking football with us. Man, it was a great show. We're going to replay this again at 4 o'clock today. So if you're there, make sure you check it out. But for everyone here at Sports Zone Chicago, we got to run. I am your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Have a phenomenal day. All right. It is going to be beautiful here in Chicago, nice and brisk. Have a wonderful day. I'm your boy. And we'll see you on Friday. Same bad time, same bad channel, 9 a.m. to 11. Your boy, the SuperBack. I am out.